Yep, that's me, staring blankly in a crowded theater. How did I get here? Well, let me take you back 7 days earlier.
Hey man, what's up?
Hey, buddy.
This is Max. He's my best friend, a terrible dancer, and happens to be a great comedian.
2030, all audio kids are gonna get burnt up Tesla batteries.
I really want to try doing stand-up comedy, and it'd be great if you could teach me.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I think if we had like a month or two of practice, you'd be pretty good at it.
I've already booked a show, and it's a week from today.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
After some convincing, Max was on board. So the next day, he came over for a consultation.
All right, first of all, just let me say, I think this is a terrible idea. It's gonna be really hard to do. It's gonna be pretty impossible in a week not to embarrass yourself in front of everybody. You know, you are gonna be the headliner, right?
Yeah.
And you're gonna have comics before you go in. All of them are good, so you're gonna have to follow up on that and be even better than them for your first time. Do you even have experience on stage? Have you ever done stand-up before at all?
I haven't done stand-up, but I was in a play in the 3rd grade. I was Cheese.
All right, so I think I've heard all I need to hear. So are you ready to get some practice on the mic?
Let's do it.
All right, so let's start with some basic stuff. Do you know any simple setup punchline jokes?
Yeah, I know one. Do you like race jokes? Vroom vroom.
So a lot of comics, they'll pull from their personal experiences in their own life and they'll bring that into their stand-up. So do you have any personal stories or anything like that you could tell on stage?
Okay, so one time, one of those tabletop grills, I wasn't wearing underwear at the time, squatted down to flip the burgers, and it was my balls.
All right, don't ever tell anybody that story ever again. We can talk about the stool.
What is the stool for?
You could sit in the stool, some people do that. Maybe you're a sitting comic. How does that feel?
This isn't good.
Yeah, no. I think you're a standing comic.
You know what? That makes sense. They don't call them sit-down comics.
Hey, we got a lot of work to do.
Stand-up comics. Let's go.
We got a lot of work
Let's
to do.
go.
Oh my God.
What about like, we spent the rest of the day working on the basics, like being comfortable on stage. Just making my way downtown, you know?
Yeah.
Making eye contact and how to hold the mic.
All right, no, that we're too far.
It was awkward doing stand-up to one guy in my living room, but we still had a ton of fun.
Just gonna wrap it up for today. We got a lot of stuff we got to work on and do for sure. We got a lot of progress we need to make before the day, but this was great.
Max was right. I had a long way to go before I'd be ready to step on stage. At that point, I was worried I might be making the biggest mistake of my life. And Monday didn't make me feel any better.
Max couldn't make it today, but he told me I should sit down and try to write some material on my own. So that's what I'm gonna do.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, dude. I sat down to write material and stuff, and I can't come up with anything, man. Like, I've been sitting here forever.
I had a severe case of writer's block. I really thought writing some jokes would be easy, but I was wrong. Luckily, Max had an idea to help me break through. It was just a little unconventional.
Guess who I am?
One of the most important parts about stand-up comedy is finding your voice. So last night, I gave Hunter a list of comics that I want him to imitate today.
This is so stupid, dude.
You'll be fine.
Max gave me a list of comics he wants me to imitate. So last night I wrote a bunch of material and now I'm gonna act it out. This is gonna be a disaster.
All right, come on. Let's get this thing started.
Who are you people in my house? You know, what's the deal with artificial intelligence? You ask it a question, it gives you an answer. What's the capital of Michigan? How tall is Taylor Swift? You know, I used AI once. Yeah, it tried to steal my wife. Yeah, but if it was actually intelligent, it would have known it didn't want her.
All right, bring out the next comedian.
Mother head white women. So I got my good friend Saki here with me today. How you doing today, Saki? Shut up before I sock you in the mouth. Saki, that's not very nice. Also, you kind of smell like feet. It's your feet, dummy. You know, I went out with this girl the other day, and we started talking about movies. I watch movies. You watch movies. This girl doesn't watch movies. She reads books. There's no Rocky IV book.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
Outside the pound, laying on the ground, shorts at your fellow. He meows, let me out, 'cause I'm something special. He's a cat, he's a kitty, he's a little bitty animal. You know, I went and saw a bee movie the other day, and I would rate it a B. That white people, he's a cat, he's a kitty, always wants to be right there with me every day, every night, in my lap. Say hello to your good buddy from down under. Hello, Mike.
You know what? I'm done for today. We'll pick this up in a couple days.
Pretending to be other comics was a weird idea, but it worked. I was able to write a lot of material. Most of it was bad, but who cares? I was writing jokes and seeing what styles did and didn't fit me. I even had a couple of jokes from that day make it into the final show. So overall, it was a huge success. The next day, Max was coming over so I could practice my own material. But when he got there, he had something unexpected.
What's up?
Hey, man.
What is that?
Brought you something. A couple days ago, I was hanging with my dad, told him what we were doing, and he gave me a stand-up instructional video that he used to have. So I don't know, I figured I could watch it, maybe it'll help.
Why would your dad have this?
I have no idea.
You know who this is?
No idea.
Welcome to Finding Your Funny, the secrets to stand-up comedy. I'm your hysterical host, Alex. So, you want to be a stand-up comedian? Well, statistically, you have no shot. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. I sure tried. There are many different aspects to being a stand-up comedian, but we'll get the most important one out of the way first. Are you ready? Are you sure? Now, the most important aspect of being a stand-up comedian, the one you should never forget, is
approximately 45 to 47,000 people in the unincorporated area, and we're pretty spread out.
He taped cops over it. That could have been it, man. That could have been what we're missing.
Now what?
Well, at this point, you've got material written. The next step would be going to open mics, working your material out. But with as much time as we got left, that's not really a viable option right now. So I'll tell you what, come to my house tomorrow night. I've got a little surprise for you.
I do love surprises.
I had been practicing for 4 days at this point, but no amount of practice could prepare me for what came next.
I am setting up for tonight's show. I decided that Hunter needs a little more practice on an actual stage, so I've converted my deck here to a place where he can perform some real stand-up in front of an audience that consists of our wives.
I'm skeptical. I don't know if he's going to have a good performance.
He's gonna flop.
Hello, everyone at my house. Welcome and thank you for coming. Now, may I please present the main event, Hunter Addison.
Whoa, we got a lot of people in the crowd tonight. When it's cold like this, it reminds me of my wife's heart. Yeah, so I was watching B movie the other day, but more like C movie. What low quality? Okay, all right. My wife's here tonight. She's always been so supportive of everything I do. She's kind of like a bra, because she's supporting two boobs. Wait, no, not her boobs. I'm talking about me and Max. We're the boobs.
The show was going okay, but then I decided to try something new.
This is the part of the show where we actually take suggestions from people in the audience. So yeah, y'all just shout something out, and then I'm gonna riff on it. So who's got something?
Me?
Yes.
Me?
Oh, you want me to roast you?
No.
So you're not warm enough by that fire. You want some real heat. All right, let me dice you up real quick. What's that on your head? A boggin? Or are you bald? Yeah. What else do you guys have?
Football.
Football. Oh, are we talking about the sport or my wife's head?
After seeing that crowd work might be a bad idea for the main show, I decided to end the night with a familiar tale.
So I promised I wouldn't tell this story again after I told it to a friend in confidence. And I think you'll really enjoy it. So, I was living by myself in this apartment alone, and I had no underwear on from the friction of my legs. Made a hole, bent down, much like this, to flip the burgers. And so yeah, that's the story of how I was scared by my balls. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have told them. Okay, thanks.
Actually, it wasn't that bad.
That was, yeah.
I got a few laughs.
Hopefully he'll have some new material for the day.
Gonna have to get back and write new material and hope for the best, I guess. He's got a lot of work to do when it comes to material, and he's got one day to do it. So, I don't know. We'll see. I've only got one day left, but that's not stopping me. I'm about to go in that room, lock the door, and I'm not coming out until I got some good stuff. This is it.
I was freaking out. I only had about 3 minutes of decent material, and I was supposed to be performing at least 8 minutes at the show. But you know what? I was so focused that I stopped overthinking and just wrote. I came up with new stuff, reworked old stuff, and by the end of Friday, I had a 9-minute set that I was extremely proud of. The only problem was I still had to memorize and rehearse all of it. So on Saturday, I spent all day running through my routine over and over until it was showtime.
How do you think Hunter's gonna do
He's going to do fine on the third take.
on the third take?
Yeah. I've seen him twice. Not in any stand-up, just in person, but not that funny of a guy.
I think he's gonna do good.
He's either gonna do really good or he's gonna totally bomb. Either way, it's gonna be funny. So
Perfect.
Thank you guys so much for coming out. Thank you for, it's a very exclusive show. It's the only show on the I Do Not Know What I'm Doing tour. Honestly, kind of a poor name. It's not really a tour. It's more like one location, but that's better for you guys. Just give yourself a round of applause. This next joke I'm gonna do, Hunter told me not to do it. He says it's not funny, but you know what? Hunter, dude. All right, what's he know about comedy? So we're gonna give it a shot. Man, I hate Facebook Marketplace, man. I can't stand it. The other day, I saw this lady online. She had listed her stool for sale. I responded to it, said yes, I would like your stool, and I went to her house, and turns out she was talking about a f***ing chair. Yeah, you, Hunter. Let's go. Let's go. He had me convinced that was gonna bomb. I said, "There's no way, dude." You guys just got me $20. Thank you very much. But anyway, are you guys ready for your first comedian tonight? Please, everyone, join me in welcoming the one, the only, Sci-Fi.
I'm not originally from Alabama. I'm from New York City, born and raised. Are you from New York?
No, Detroit, Michigan.
Oh. It's like, I'm from the greatest city in the world. Woo! Oh, you from New York? No, I'm from the city where nobody vacations to.
This is wild. What Hunter's doing tonight is wild. Doing stand-up for your first time at a show is crazy. That's like being a virgin going straight to anal. I mean, you're skipping a few steps, buddy. You know?
People get a little bit freaked out whenever I say that my parents are dead, but it freaks them out more when I say that they were technically murdered. My mother was murdered by a cancer, pancreatic, and then my dad was murdered by a Sagittarius named Tammy. Allegedly, legally I have to say allegedly. So thank you.
All right, you're up.
This week has been insane. At the beginning, I thought this was going to be easy, but it quickly turned into one of the hardest things I've ever done. Doing stand-up in a week is a stupid idea, but there's no going back.
Are you all ready for the main event? The moment you've all been waiting for. He truly does not know what he's doing. Please join me in welcoming Hunter Addison.
What's up, Huntsville? Man, what a great show we've had tonight. Go ahead and give a round of applause to all the comedians that came before me. They were absolutely phenomenal, and I'm gonna keep it going. You might think the #1 fear in America is bear attacks, but you'd be wrong. It's actually the fear of public speaking. And that's what most people do when they're scared of public speaking. Me, I say very inappropriate things. My wife's here tonight, and she doesn't want to be, no. Whenever I first told her I was putting together this comedy show, she used words like sad, embarrassing, divorce. But in the end, I got her here. Yeah, I just had to promise her I'd stop begging her for sex, and she was more than happy to come. It's ironic because the first time I ever got my wife to come was by agreeing not to have sex with her. So, no, yeah, that's a slow burn.
My pacing was too fast in the beginning, but soon I settled in.
Yeah. Dating in my hometown was also very hard. I was related to pretty much everyone there. And that should tell you something. Yeah, my family tree is more like a shrub that just keeps growing into itself. It was so bad that we had our own dating app. It was called 23 and Meet. Yep, you'd match with a potential partner, and you'd both take a DNA swab and send it in. Most people have to get approval from their parents for who they date. We had to get approval from the state government. We all know how slow the government can be. Almost as slow as my cousin Jeffrey.
And soon, I gained enough confidence to try out my embarrassing story one last time.
Well, that's enough about other people's genitals. Let me tell you a story about mine. So my then girlfriend, now wife, who's sitting in the front row, was away for the weekend, and I was home all alone. So I decided to do what all men do when they're home alone: grill some meat. And so, unfortunately, I didn't have very much money, so I couldn't afford a full-size grill. I just had one of those small tabletop grills instead. But I also couldn't afford a table, so I had that thing laying right on the deck. So I put on an old t-shirt and a pair of shorts I had had since middle school. And man, I love those shorts. The only problem was there was a giant hole cut in the crotch. I mean, I didn't cut the hole. The hole was created from the friction of my thighs, but it doesn't matter. I went outside to flip the burgers, and as I went to flip them, I had to squat down, much like this. And as I'm flipping the burgers, I saw something. Lurking beneath me was a small woodland creature. So I ran screaming like a little girl. And while I was running and screaming, I noticed something. This creature also had a fight or flight response, but he wasn't a pussy like me. No. He was a fighter. So much so that he had latched himself onto my body. And so I'm running, screaming, and this thing is flailing wildly between my legs. It was absolute chaos. My neighbors are hearing the screams of a young girl, and they look out their window to find me running in a full sprint, which probably wasn't a good look, if I'm being honest. After I finally calmed down, I was able to survey the situation further. And it turned out that the small woodland creature was just my balls that had fallen out of my shorts. Which was a huge sigh of relief, let me tell you. But that was very hard to explain to the cops while they were arresting me for public exposure. And that's the story of how I was wrongfully convicted of being a sex offender. All right, that's all I've got. I'm not actually a sex offender, just so we're clear on that. That was a joke. This is a comedy show. All right, thank you. And you know, Max, we didn't practice how to end these things. I'm gonna go.
All right, guys, thank you so much for coming out to the show. I know it was free. You guys are kind of freeloaders, but we sure do appreciate it anyway. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. Thank you guys again. Take care.